Well, much like yesterday's video, we have another game shutting its doors for good. Unlike yesterday's video, though, this game hadn't even released yet, which all things considered is probably a good thing because nobody has lost out on another early access failure purchase and we get to keep our money. But this one is particularly heartbreaking for me because over the years, I have spoken with some of the developers, participated in multiple playtests, and actually saw a game in its very early stages have a gameplay loop that was fun, tactical, and competitive, and not even that was enough. The game I'm speaking about today is Alara Prime, and the biggest problem this game had was as soon as people saw it, they compare it to many other shooters on the market, mainly Valorant, Counter-Strike, and Overwatch, and they call it a clone of either one they feel like that day. Valorant due to the actual gunplay itself, Counter-Strike due to the nature of the map design and the overall game speed and feel, and Overwatch due to its brighter, vibrant visuals that clearly means hero shooter. But you would be wrong to think it's a clone of any of these titles. What this game is a mashup blend of what I would consider Valorant style gunplay, in which you have to kind of be standing still and taking, slow pieing corners and approaches to that, but also combined with Rainbow Six Siege. It's as if you were to take Valorant and take away the hero element. Like, yeah, there are classes with abilities, but it's not to the level that a Valorant is, where it's over the top, throwing knives, diving around. It's not anything like that. It's more along the lines of a Rainbow Six Siege. There's tactics, there's breaching of walls, there's C4s, there's a bomb plant mode that essentially takes 3 teams of 4 and puts them against one another. You have a defending team who is obviously defending the bomb site, and then you have 2 teams that are both attacking the bomb site, and everybody is trying to capture the site for themselves. And it was just so competitive. It was so much fun. No respawn game mode, just like if you were to take Counter-Strike, add another team into the mix, and then have a bomb plant mode. It was fucking sick. And I felt like it was one of the best competitive shooters that I have played in probably the last 5 to 6 years that isn't Rainbow Six, that isn't Counter-Strike, that is something fucking new, and holy fuck, it's over. The gameplay you guys are seeing is me exploring the game's build for the last time, because as of June 23rd, this is the final playtest for Alara Prime. This is a game that I've been following for the last 2 to 3 years. This is a game that I've streamed on multiple occasions during multiple playtests, and I've had just such a fucking blast playing. And for those who don't know, the development studio behind Alara Prime, Fall Damage, was actually started by a bunch of old industry veterans who worked at DICE on the old Battlefield games. So much like Embark Studios, who went on to obviously create the Finals as well as Arc Raiders, this was another DICE branch off from some of the OGs. And earlier this year, back in May, the developers, Fall Damage, were essentially called bankrupt by their owner, Fragbyte Group. The article came out May 23rd, so about a month ago, literally a month ago today. So I'm guessing they had 30 days to pack shit up. The board of directors of Fragbyte Group AB have today, May 23rd, resolved to declare bankruptcy for its subsidiary Fall Damage. The ongoing process of entering into an agreement with a publisher for the game Alara Prime has not yet been completed, which has led to an unsustainable financial situation for Fall Damage. So Fragbyte Group owns Fall Damage, and Fall Damage's responsibility on top of developing the game was to also shop it around to potential publishers to look for somebody who might be interested in footing the bill to get this game done. And unfortunately, they couldn't get that done. Now, here's where the story kind of falls apart a little bit for me. I met with the developers and I've spoken to them multiple times. I've played in multiple playtests, and I've always felt that throughout every playtest I've played, it felt like progress was kind of at a snail's pace. We always had 2 maps that were completed and visually done. And then we had 2 maps that were always seemingly in a white box state. And during this bankruptcy filing that happened back in May, it blows my mind. The book value of Fall Damage will be written down to 0 in the parent company's balance sheet, which is expected to have a negative impact on the group's results of approximately 39 million Swedish kronas, which, if you do the math, that's about a 3.7 million US dollar loss on this game and this company. And keep in mind, this news comes out only 7 months after Fragbyte officially acquired Fall Damage in a deal with an upfront fee of $1.9 million. So I'm guessing that 3.7 also includes the 1.9 million acquisition, but I'm wondering, like, where's $3.7 million worth of value here? That is what I am trying to figure out. According to LinkedIn, Fall Damage is around 51 to 200 employees. Take it on the exact low end. If you're paying 51 employees salary, like, I can definitely see where this money comes from. But if you're paying these people that much money and spending this much money acquiring the rights, like, how was this product not further along at this point? From what I'm seeing and from what I can play right now in this video, you spent 1.9 to acquire. Out of the 3.7, that leaves $1.8 million spent. Where? I can't actually fathomably put that into my brain that this cost them $3.7 million. So while I'm super sympathetic for the developers, and while I'm super sad that this game will most likely never come to fruition in the way that it should, and in the way that I wished it would, I completely understand why somebody looking at the book balance and seeing $3.7 million loss, look over here, you know, a bunch of guns, 2 completed maps, and a release date nowhere in sight. Like, I get it. I completely understand the business side of it. This is one of those things where I'm not even mad at the business side. Like, I'm more looking into it while I'm kind of like working through this video. I totally get it. What I wish I had the money to do is to go into this conversation, buy the IP, bring those devs to the table and be like, okay, what the fuck went wrong? How do you fix it? And if, like, I would love to be able to be in the call to bring this game to fruition, because I do think after all the playtesting that I've done on it, it does have a spot in today's market, and I think it could get an actual player base if they were to do things right. We just never saw them get to the point where they have things like progression, cosmetics, and everything else that you need to compete in today's market. They couldn't even get there, and I'm very curious as to why. But alas, another game shelved completely. Yesterday's video was about Boundary and how that game is shutting down 14 months after an early access launch. And now we have a $3.7 million financial situation that has resulted in the closing of Fall Damage and subsequently their game, Alara Prime. I think it really just goes to show you how unsustainable indie development is when it comes to making multiplayer titles. It's just an insane amount of risk in an oversaturated market where everybody and their dog are making multiplayer titles, and you just have to compete or you die very quickly and very painfully in this space. And I mean, when you think about the fact that, like, these guys are industry veterans, they have contacts, and even they couldn't find the contacts to make this game a reality and find publishers and financing, like, that's super, like, unmotivating. I'll say that. I wish this game ended up different. I'm glad that I got a chance to play it as much as I did. I'm kind of kicking myself now that I didn't play more of it when I had the opportunities to. I was essentially just kind of waiting for the game to be in a much better and further along developed state. But unfortunately at this point, we're not going to get there. My name is BigFry. Thank you guys for watching, and this has been Alara Prime.